Hey YouTube, it's me, Derek DC Phillips, bringing you all things frightful. And today I have two very special guests. They are part of the Graveyard Baddies. Now, what is a Graveyard Baddie, you might ask? It's actually a name that we came up with on a cemetery tour. We thought, what can we call ourselves? Spooky Squad, that's been done, I feel. Scooby-Doo gang? No, we don't have a dog. So we settled on Graveyard Baddies. When you see that name pop up, it's about to be a good time. Graveyard Baddies, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Ashley, Graveyard Baddie number one.
Oh, number
one. We have known Derek since, at least 5 or 6 years now, and we bonded over Britney Spears and horror movies. So, yeah, Graveyard Baddies were born.
I guess you are number one because you two have known each other longer. I am Graveyard Baddies number 2, Carrie McDaniel, and I know Derek through Ashley, and yeah. All of horror, spooky things, spooky gang, Graveyard Baddies.
And Britney Spears, as the good Lord intended.
Yes.
Now, today we are going to be talking about some upcoming horror releases that are most anticipated from some of our staple franchises. And we thought that we kick things off with the movie that will be coming out first, chronologically, in order of what we'll be covering, and that is Halloween Ends. Now, I know there's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of chatter, rumors about what to expect before the trailer drops, hopefully end of this month, end of July 2022. But I want to know, I think Carrie is probably the biggest Halloween fanatic on right now. As am I, but I think you go deep for the franchise. So tell us a little bit, how do you feel about the franchise overall and what's been done over the last few years?
I'm not going to lie, the previous movie, I hated it. And that is, I know. I think I need to rewatch it, but the directing was great, I think, but overall, it just kind of was lagging. And I think we talked about this earlier. I think the fact they kind of alluded to that people are understanding he's like a superhuman at this point, like supernatural, like nothing's going to kill him, which I think, was you could have guessed that earlier in the movies, but now they're actually alluding to that, which I think is good. So, we'll see.
I thought the Halloween 2018 was arguably top 3 Halloween movies of all time, which is, a bold statement, I know. But because of that, I think I was really let down by the last movie as well, because it felt very political to me a little bit, the part where the mob is running down the wrong person and all those things. And I'm like, I'm here for guts and glory, I'm not here for the political message, which, good for them for trying that. But I think that I was just a little let down from the 2018 Halloween.
I'm with you. I think as wonderful as it's been to actually see Halloween movies in the theater, which we saw together, Ashley.
We did.
And with my grandma. And I think as wonderful as that is, when you hear the music come on, the score, it's dark, it's creepy. I think my big problem is that every new couple of movies that Jamie Lee Curtis is involved in, which she's a legend, she's the icon, she's the moment, we know that. But anytime she's involved, she hypes it up as this is the most meaningful sequel ever. There's such profound themes. And then fast forward about 6 years and she is talking the most smack about the last one she did. And it's like, okay, let's let's maybe pause hyping it up and just let us see the movie, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why we were let down as well, because there was a lot of hype around it, and we were expecting it to be fantastic. Which it wasn't terrible. I'm not going to say it was terrible, but
Right.
No, I mean, my husband went home after we saw it in the theaters with you and literally watched it all over again on Paramount Plus the very same day. So
Yeah.
some people loved it, but some people just, I don't know, I felt it lacked a bit. I think the new one is going to be amazing. I really think they will come back. They will learn from the mistakes of Kills and make it the best ending to this. What would it be
Is
called?
it going to be the ending?
I think it's going to be the ending to this trilogy.
Yes, I agree. And I think I'm kind of tired. Okay, let me preface this. I'm kind of tired of the Michael versus Laurie deal, because we've learned in this retcon universe that Michael and Laurie aren't really connected. So Michael does not even know she exists, like as an adult, after stalking her as a teen. So it's one of those things where I kind of feel that they retconned everything to put a bunch of Easter eggs in the new movies that call out the old sequels. But then we're in the audience thinking, wait a minute, you said that the old movies were so convoluted and stupid. Why are you redoing it and burning him and letting him be superhuman? Which is it?
Okay, well, I will say we don't need to claim the one that has Tyra Banks in it. We just don't. That one did not happen.
Resurrection.
You
Soft
love
spot.
Resurrection?
So it was the first one I was able to see in a theater.
Oh, well, that's magical.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. Ryan Merriman was in it from the Disney Channel. It was
Luck of the Irish.
it was a product of its time.
I hear you. However, yeah, the storyline got convoluted. And I will say, the only reason I don't like the new trilogy is you're right. I like that we had the connection that Michael was Laurie's brother. That was the tie that kept them together. And you're right. Without that, she's kind of a random victim.
And I wish they had kept at least the original movie and Halloween 2.
Yes, I agree.
And built from there. Now, speaking of the original movie, I watched a video today from Jimmy Champagne, who is a YouTuber that I enjoy watching. He always has good info. Don't know where he gets it, but he's got a lot of inside stuff. And he's saying that Halloween 1978 will be an attraction at Halloween Horror Nights this year. Ashley, are you going?
Yes, and I did know that. Yeah.
Let's all go.
They've done other Halloweens before this year, but this is the first time that I'll be there for the original Halloween. I'm extremely excited. The other house they announced, by the way, was the Black Phone, and what was the other one? Oh, Freaky. It's a Blumhouse double house, and I'm the biggest Blumhouse fan out there, so I am stoked. Cannot wait. You guys should come with me right now.
Be there.
Booking it. I guess one last thing I wanted to say is the highlight of Halloween Kills for me, and I've heard that this highlight carries over to Halloween Ends, is Kyle Richards. Because there's a whole lot of silence there, but I thought she was the most organic returning character, if that makes sense. I felt like Tommy Doyle was a little over the top with the whole Evil Dies Tonight. Like,
For sure.
Yeah, okay, we get it. And a few of the others, like Sheriff Brackett, I just feel like they were brought in as a little nod, and then they, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it since it came out so long ago, just to die, and it's like, okay, I think that Kyle, they left down under that bridge, and I think there's more to that story or more to that scene that hopefully we'll see be played out.
100%. I feel like they left her in the park and then we come back and find her all beaten up, but we never see her interact with Michael at all. She's hidden and he walks over and that's it. So I agree. I loved seeing her in the movie actually, and I hope that she returns again.
Yeah. That was, I mean, the whole pillowcase full of bricks, that was good for me. Loved it. And who knows? I'm not sure. We don't know anything yet as to whether Halloween Ends is going to be available on streaming immediately, if it's just going to be in theaters. So hopefully we'll find out later this month, I would think.
That played into why I wasn't a super fan as well. I saw it at home, not in theaters. I think that maybe had something to do with it.
Makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that environment. And everybody's excited because if you go on opening night, you're a super fan, you know? All right, so let's move on. I've got my little notes here. Okay. And the three of us kind of touched base on this at one point earlier on. I want to move on to Chucky. I already know this is going to be a debate. So Chucky season 2 is filming right now. And I just want to say, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills are saving horror because Sutton Strack, it has posted that she's in it. She's a friend of Jennifer Tilly, and she's posting on set. It looks like they're having the time of their lives. Shout out to Sutton. Can't wait to see you and Team you and Garcelle, as a side note, if you're a Housewives viewer. And I want to know, how do you two feel about where Chucky is going? Did you see Chucky season 1?
You know how I feel about Chucky, which is, if we're talking about the classic slashers, he does not fit. I'm sorry. I could beat up Chucky, and I don't think it's fair to classify him with Jason or Michael Myers. So I have seen all the movies, but I've not watched the show because Child's Play 2019 scarred me. I really hope that he does not look like that in the show. That computerized, weird version. But yeah, I mean, I know that you've told me, you said, don't judge it by that and watch the show. So it's on my list, but I'm hesitant.
I agree. I have not seen the show either. And I think Chucky it's so traditional that it's hard to like get away from it. And so, but yeah, the 2019 one, Aubrey Plaza was in that one, right? Yeah, that one I gotta be honest, I didn't finish it.
No, it was bad. I will say this. I feel very similarly to you, Ashley. The later movies, I enjoy Bride of Chucky because I think they did something where they did take it into sort of a dark horror comedy territory. And Chucky lends himself to that. He's a lot like Freddy in that way. But Seed of Chucky, they lost me, which I'll come back to in a second. I will say that the newer direct-to-video or direct-to-streaming sequels, I enjoyed because they did go back to that darker tone. But in season 1 of Chucky, I think they did a really great job of tying everything together. And I think that's something that they did well, where some of the other franchises flounder. I like that. I'm going to use that word more often.
Flounder.
Because I think, the others are like, people didn't like that sequel. Let's pretend it didn't happen. And so you kind of alienate some fans. Whereas with Chucky, they sort of embraced all of it and found a really nice way to wrap it up in a bow. They, in season 2, are bringing back Glenn Glenda, which I'm not thrilled about because I feel like with Glenn Glenda, that's where it really went slapstick, ridiculous, and not scary. But the show has more of sort of a Stranger Things vibe. And yeah, it's like they're having fun with it. So I trust where Don Mancini's going with it. And I guess we'll just see. We'll see. I wonder if we'll ever have another Chucky movie, or if Don Mancini feels like, you know what, let's just really tell the story and move on.
Do you
One
really
other thing,
like it scary?
it's suspense. There are some suspenseful scenes, I will say. Not dark and terrifying, I will give you that. But they do have kids, like they are actual teens. Sometimes it's like Dawson's Creek, they're 30 years old playing teenagers. So they have real teens playing teens, and sometimes I feel like that does ratchet up the tension. Like, oh my gosh, I hope this kid is okay. So Devin Sawa is coming back too, so that's fun. Blast from the past. I do know he played twins in season 1, and somehow he's coming back for season 2.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of selling it to me. I know
Yeah.
you're definitely not selling it to her, but
I know.
I'll try.
I might.
I'll try. I'm also really not good at getting into shows because it's such a commitment. And then once I've seen one episode, I have to watch all 12, even if I'm not really that into it. So for me, that's why I'm a movie buff. I would rather watch the 2-hour movie and keep it moving.
Yeah. What I like is, I believe with Chucky, Nick Antosca has been involved, and he was responsible for Sci-Fi's Channel Zero. I don't know if anybody watching has watched Channel Zero, but thumbs up.
That's been on my list because of you, actually. I saw you
Season
post about
1.
that, and I've had it on my list.
Season 1 is it revolves around a children's show with puppets. And if you watch it, you'll be like, okay, I see how the same guy has made puppets and dolls terrifying. 100%.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of puppets or dolls, so I can see how that could be terrifying.
No, do you guys remember the Goosebumps episode with the puppet that
Flappy.
Yeah, yes.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
don't remember that.
Oh, it haunts my dreams. Maybe do watch it, but it's terrifying.
I would love to go back and like watch all of the Goosebumps.
They're scary.
I believe you can find my favorite, Night of the Living Dummy Part 2 on YouTube.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
That one is horrifying.
And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Chucky is still streaming on Peacock, where Halloween Kills premiered. So yeah, check it out. It's free, give it a shot.
I realized I said Paramount Plus earlier. I was wrong. It's Peacock.
It's okay. Nobody's sponsoring us. So,
Not sponsored.
Although Paramount, Peacock, hello.
Similar. And, if they want to sponsor us, that's great. Maybe that's some incentive. But again, Housewives of Beverly Hills are killing it in the horror genre these days. All right. Last but certainly not least, we want to talk about Scream.
Before we start, what's your favorite scary movie?
Just in general, or from the Scream series?
In general.
In general. We got to do what Ghostface would ask.
This is really hard. I'm going to stick with the subgenre we're talking about and probably go with The Nightmare on Elm Street.
Great choice.
Yep. I salute to that. Ashley?
So creative. What about you?
Is it our favorite or the scariest? That determines it.
I want to know the scariest because I feel like we all know each other's favorites, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about it a little bit.
So, in my opinion, the scariest movie to me is the new Evil Dead, the 2013 version. It's horrifying. The original Evil Dead is so funny and so campy, and the new one takes it to a whole other level. And I think I feel that way because I went to a Halloween Horror Nights house with Evil Dead by myself. It was just me and my brother walking through the house alone, and I've never felt such pure terror before that it made me love the movie even more. So that's my answer.
I did not see it. So I know.
Well, don't sleep with the lights off because you'll be horrified.
Okay. I'll give it a chance. I will.
All right, Carrie, what's your scariest?
I gotta say, nothing recently has really scared me, but as a teenager, and this is gonna be really embarrassing, but The Strangers. I
Yes.
started sleeping with a knife next to my bed. The second it ended, I was like, no. But
Yeah.
I have watched it a few times after that, and not so scary. But
I remember I was on vacation and I went to the movie theater to see that, and I ended up sleeping with a steak knife I went to the little kitchenette, found the sharpest thing I could, and put it in my nightstand because nope.
because, like, to me, like, ghosts and demons stuff, never seen that, so I don't know. People could experience that, and that's fine, but I've never experienced. But for someone to be in a mask coming to murder you at your home, that's real.
I hear you,
Yeah.
but also, like, I'm more scared of demons and ghosts because you can't hurt them. You can't just shoot them and stab them and
Yeah.
be done. They can get you no matter what. So that's the real fear. Okay. But I know a lot of people
That is true.
is their scariest for sure. And I get that.
Yeah, it's definitely not my
I'm
scariest.
kind of half and half.
Scariest now.
Yeah.
But
I think for me, when I like ghosts and demons who are more subtle in the movies.
yeah.
Real life too, but
And that's one thing. This is a controversial opinion, and I don't know if I should say it. I might lose subscribers, but I recognize and I appreciate how traumatizing and groundbreaking The Exorcist was for its time. But having read the book leaves a lot more questions to be answered. And it's almost like the book leaves you wondering, was she really possessed? Or, what's going on here? And I like that.
I still find The Exorcist terrifying. I really do. It really irks me to my soul. But I agree with you that because it was the first time people had seen it, they were thinking they were getting possessed in the movie theaters. My mom told me about watching it for the first time, and people around her were fainting. It was so groundbreaking and such an experience. And so you have to value it for that. And Derek and I famously met Linda Blair. We're big fans, and it was wonderful. We talked about dogs and dog food. But anyways, I do agree with you that it might not be the scariest to me anymore, but with what they were working with, incredibly impressive.
Oh, yes.
A big thing I wanted to say too, I think the common problem with these classics that we have, and they're trying to bring them back, they're getting lost in this mix of what needs to be old school and what needs to be new school. And sometimes that's a letdown.
Yeah, I do. I feel that. And that's where with the Exorcist reboot coming up, there have been almost no details coming out. So I'm really curious to know what they're going to do with that. Because they tried to do that kind of legacy sequel thing with the TV show. And I watched the first season. It was really entertaining. But it's like, okay, that story's already been done. So what are we doing? Is this family coming in like a Nev Campbell and Scream and just helping the new generation? Or is a grandchild possessed? What's going on here?
I feel The Conjuring is kind of the Exorcist of our generation, because everyone I talk to says The Conjuring is the scariest movie to them. Same idea, the possession, the family in the house, everything like that. And yeah, so I am curious to see what The Exorcist could do differently that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's very true. And anybody watching out there, if you didn't know, Linda Blair has a special Chewy.com promo. She's like Ashley said, she's the biggest dog lover you will ever find. Super sweet, super talented. I can't wait to see her come back to the franchise and see what they do with it. So yeah, that's just a fun fact that we learned.
Love to hear it.
So Scream, which is your favorite Scream installment before, as we get into that topic?
Mine is always the original. I love the opening scene with Drew Barrymore. I mean, it is iconic. I actually didn't realize until last night, because I was looking back over some Scream things. Did you guys realize Drew Barrymore is the girl on the cover of the original Scream? She looks so different.
And they really tricked people with that big time.
Yeah. Because a lot of people did think that was Neve Campbell, and I thought that was so interesting. But yeah, the original for me all day. It's iconic.
I have to agree, but I really, really, really did enjoy the latest Scream.
I did
thought
too.
it was fantastic and like great.
It was a fun ride.
It was fun.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think with Scream, with the new one, I didn't go in with expectations at all. I'm just like, you know what? I want to see these people. I want to see Ghostface. Let's have fun with it. And I think that's the approach they took making it that made the difference. You know, have fun with it, respect what's happened, what people love about it. I will say I love Scream 2. And I know we can't have Scream 2 without the first Scream, and not knocking the first one, but I love it. And I love that Wes Craven continued with having an opening scene that echoed an 80s slasher, because that one was He Knows You're Alone, which the movie theater thing, crazy. I think that was also Tom Hanks's first movie, He Knows You're Alone. We're just bouncing all over the place here today. But I love Scream 2.
And I just realized that Scream 5, or Scream, the latest one to come out, was the first one not directed by Wes Craven. So I really didn't have high expectations, because I love Wes Craven, like love. And it was still great. I still think it was such a fun ride.
Exactly. Again, with this one, so many rumors. We know it's going to be in New York. We know that Neve Campbell is going to be in it, at least for a little bit. I get a lot of my Scream news from 3C Films on YouTube. Also, shout out to him. He's always got the latest and greatest. What else do we know? We know that
Kirby is coming back. Love Kirby.
That's what I wanted. That was the only thing that from my non-expectations from the fifth one, that I'm like, I wonder if she'll pop up. So super excited about that.
Yeah, and they did it in such a subtle way, just showing her on the TV, on the news report, that she had survived. I mean, that was huge. And when she got killed, it was so unambiguous, but a little ambiguous, because we never saw her get wheeled away. So really excited to see her come back.
Exactly. Oh, love her. Love her. What do you think? I mean, there's a lot floating around out there. So there are rumors that definitely, I think they're taking the Halloween approach, because there are rumors that 6 will feed into 7, and that Neve Campbell will have a much bigger part. There are rumors that from unmade sequels, that potentially there could be 3 ghost faces, and that potentially 2 could be unveiled in the 6th movie, and then 1 in 7. What do you think? There's so much floating around. What are you like? Yeah, I could see that happening.
I want to know, has there ever been a Scream movie where there's only one ghost face? I can't think of one. And I feel like that might actually be the differentiator.
I think, was it the 3rd one that it ended up just being her brother? Like they cut, but then it was left open that potentially there was somebody in the background.
Yeah. So I think that's what makes Scream really interesting, though, is usually there is just one killer that's being revealed. And in Scream, it's always been more than one. So really the possibilities are endless. I don't know. I don't know what to look forward to.
I just wonder if they're going to keep going with this. This is, what year is the latest Scream like based in?
I think it was 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, or 2021.
So like if they're gonna keep going with it's like recent, this is the time it's happening, are they gonna keep, I guess what I'm trying to say, hold on.
Like, are we gonna?
They just went like, if they're gonna keep like, you know, like this is a fandom, like people are hearing about it and like that, you know, the same kind of concept of the latest people who did it. Kind of like it's fandom, it's like they're just
one of my favorite rumors floating around, and I don't know, that's what I love about Scream, because you just don't know what to expect. But one of my favorite theories was that it would be almost like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where yes,
love that one because it's so meta.
right. And I mean, with the Scream movies, that's really the only next level they could take. And so there are rumors that all of that drama surrounding Nev Campbell not returning was actually publicity, and that the next movie is about the stars and upset fans who are like infiltrating, following them to New York, and actually stalking their favorites like Kirby. So Kirby would actually be Hayden, I guess, in real life. Like, we want you back.
I would love that.
I hope that
That
is
would
the
be
direction.
great.
Yeah. That is amazing. I love that. And I loved when New Nightmare did it because it made Freddy so much more scary than just a funny character. And oh, that would be really interesting to see if the fans became Ghostface.
We'll have to see. We should do like a time capsule this time next year, or I guess March of next year, to see, were we on the mark? Was it way, I mean, because it could be something way out of left field. So we don't know. Anything else about Scream that we wanted to touch on? There are no Real Housewives in this franchise as of yet. So
I will say I just rewatched Scream 4 and I was impressed with quite how many celebrities were in it. Completely forgot that, you know, Kristen Bell, Anna Paquin, Lucy Hale. I mean, granted, they are somewhat small roles. They're kind of just the opening sequence, but I mean, I love Emma Roberts. She is probably my favorite scream queen of all time. And she's a literal scream queen from the show, one of my faves. But I thought that I was just really impressed by quite how many people came out for this Scream film and how gory it was. Carrie and I were talking about this, and she was saying that it's why it's one of her favorites, because I mean, it was no holds barred.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like other than the original one, you know, where we saw, you know, Drew Barrymore getting her guts pulled out of her. Other than that, you know, that was kind of as gory as it got. And I am gore.
Yes.
And that's what I watched some kind of retrospective about how the Columbine shooting actually had a lot to do with that, because a lot of the slashers at that time had to dial down the violence against teens. And that's why I think it was Scream 3, there's almost no blood. It became like more of a dark comedy than scary.
Wow. I did not know that. That's actually cool.
That makes a lot of sense.
And with the latest one, they did, I think Sheriff Marley, that was sad to me.
Yeah.
Like, she made it home to protect her kid, and then bam. I was also hearing, though, it's funny because there are YouTubers and the fandom is insane at times. So people have actually gone into the movie and tried to figure out which killer killed who. And if you do that, there are actually victims who would not have ever synced up. So they're wondering, was there a third ghost face in the movie that just came out? that will carry over. We don't know.
I would love to see that too.
Yeah.
If someone undiscovered from the past was actually one of the killers, that would be
Yes,
great.
love it. Well, one last question before we wrap today. What is your most anticipated horror release that maybe we haven't covered yet?
I'm gonna say Quiet Place 3.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
I heard that they're kind of coming out with a spinoff, but it's not directed by John Krasinski. So I don't know how I feel about that. But the third one, the third movie, I'm really excited about. I think that'll be good, a good one.
I missed that news. So that's new for me. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
And Ashley?
For me, I'm gonna say Nope, the new Jordan Peele movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I think Get Out is one of my favorite movies of all time. Us was incredible. So I'm really excited to see what he has coming next. I will say, I think Candyman kind of fell off for me, but again,
Yeah.
it's the same thing with the remakes. Sometimes they are just very, very hit or miss. But I think that his original ideas have just been incredible. So really excited to see Nope.
I agree. I think Nope feels, when I watch the trailer, it feels like a Steven Spielberg movie from the 80s, but
Yeah.
updated for
Jordan-
now.
Killing it with
He's-
that. Like,
Yeah.
amazing.
Between the Housewives and Jordan Peele, they're making it happen.
Single-handedly carrying the horror industry on their back.
Yep.
I'm
Mm.
here for it.
I think I still have not seen The Black Phone, so that's gonna be mine.
Yes.
I know it was already
Let
released,
us
but
see your take on that.
I loved The Black Phone. I have had so many people hype it up, and I thought that it wouldn't live up to it, but it really did. It's, first of all, it's written by Stephen King's son, and I think that that tells you everything you need. It's not so much horror, guts, and gore, but it is very intense where you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, and you're really rooting for the characters. Like, I've never felt such a connection to the characters in a movie, like in a horror movie like this. So really excited for you guys to see it, and I hope that you enjoyed as much as I did.
I'm excited. Yeah.
ooh, yeah, those are big words, and I trust you, so I'm excited. I read Nosferatu like with numbers, like a license plate by Joe Hill, and it was so trippy, and I'm really excited to see what he did with the Black Phone. I still haven't read the novella that it's based on, but I'm excited for the movie for sure.
That's my next move, is definitely to read it. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you two so much. We will have to do this again. I think the next time we do this will be an actual ghost tour. We still have the one we need to reschedule. So
That
we're
has been
on
a-
it.
Yeah.
That's been like a year and a half in the making.
We will go
It'll
on this
happen.
tour, and thank you so much for having us. We had so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Bye.
Graveyard
Love
Baddies.
you.